How's it going, everybody? This is Thomas Moore here, coming at you live on Monday, January 15th at about 10 a.m. Pacific time on the West Coast here in Portland, Oregon. We're going to do some sharpening live in the group and on YouTube. So this little guy I'm flicking right now is actually a Medford knife and tool, MKT. It's not thin, but it's much thinner than most Medfords. So, and it's also got a flipper. So it's kind of different. I've never seen anything like this. So it's got a nice spot to clamp it. We're gonna do a satin edge on this one. This one will be pretty simple, I hope. But every time I say that, I'm wrong. So hopefully this is easy to do, and we can do this, and we'll do a PM2 at the end if we have time. So anyway, we'll get some people to join us here. Let me get this video pinned to the top of the group so everyone can see it. Pin to featured. Okay. Now I can see myself while I see myself on my phone. Phone on my MagSafe charger. I like this little MagSafe thing, this little pad. You just drop your phone on it on the desk, and I can pick it up, and it's charged and all that jazz. Yesterdoodle. I worked on a couple knives yesterday, but there's one that definitely I spent the most time on and stole the show. I did this, it took a while on film, and I kind of fucked it up. I didn't fuck it up, I missed a couple spots on my low grits, which is why your low grits are important. So I took this thing all the way to 8,000 before I got it in the right light and realized I missed some spots on the top of the bevel that weren't profiled right. It took a while before I could figure that out, so I had to start over. It was frustrating and a little bit embarrassing to do that on film, so I did it after the video where I wasn't self-conscious, and it turned out fucking amazing. So this is sharpened to 8,000 grit on Hapstone premium CBN stones, and then stropped to, I think, 0.25 micron with gutting juice strops. And it's one of my best Tontos I've done on a PM2. It's very scratch-free-ish. And it's sharp, which is always bonus points. Bonus points for sharp. Very sharp. And it's a mirror. I like doing that, just throwing the paper on the ground. Underneath my desk is covered with paper shreds, and then every week I come in there with I have a vacuum, a dust buster, but it's a DeWalt dust buster, and it runs on an 18-volt DeWalt battery. And it's yellow, and it's very manly, and it sucks up stuff very well because it's got a drill battery. So that's badass. I got a heater over here. I'm getting kind of toasty, but that's okay. Let's mount this bad boy up and get going. This is the last knife of an order, so I haven't been doing things in the order. I've been doing the order they come in, but I've been kind of starting orders and picking out all the coolest things for them for videos. Not that this isn't video worthy, but I get excited, and I've been picking apart boxes, and now it's time to actually go through and finish some of these so I can get them mailed out tomorrow, because this guy sent in 4 knives. 3 of them from mirrors that we did all on camera, and then this Medford for a satin edge, which I like showing too, because my mirror videos, while the end result, the reveal is really cool, they're fucking long. They can be really long videos of me doing the same thing. So we're going to satin edge. It'll be a little bit shorter, and I'll get you the basics of sharpening without all the extra polishing crap. What is going on with this? Well, I got some business. People are messaging me about sharpening some stuff, and I think I got my first Holt coming. That's pretty cool. I haven't had a Holt in here, I don't think, which is surprising. Okay, let's check this edge angle. This is going to be steep, I have a hunch. So we'll start on the steeper end and not the shallower end. while this is totally opposite from most Medfords, though, so I could be wrong. Let's start down at the bottom and work our way up to the lower grits. Okay, well, we're pretty much right on where we are. So this is like 26 degrees, and it's pretty close to dead on the edge. Oh, one thing we need to look at before we get too far is the way this is clamped. This is one of those knives that it's a pain in the ass to sharpen because of where the end of the edge is. So if you can see this, the edge ends right here and the handle's right there. And the handle kind of goes out and the edge is back here. So we have to make sure the stone can get to the end of the edge, which right now, the way that the knife is kind of turned to get the tip to heel parallel, it will allow us to get to the end of the edge, but like so barely. Yeah, it will work. So we're going to have to tape the crap out of this because we're going to be rubbing up against it to get the end of the edge. We'll have to tape it to make sure we protect it. So let's check the other side. This side, we're a little too low. So actually, we have to go up to a higher angle. Let's see what angle we're actually at right now. So I always check my angle on the presentation side, and that's just because when you flip it, unless your clamp is dialed in perfectly, the angle on when you flip isn't necessarily on any sharpener. Tuned in one it is, but isn't going to be the same as it was. Okay, we're at 25.4 degrees. We're going to take this to just 25 even, and we'll profile it to that. I need to recalibrate mine. Mine's off, and I flip it by like 0.2 degrees or something like that. So I always measure when it's in the same position, so I know that at least I'm repeating the same measurement. Tape. I use scissors a lot. People make fun of me for keeping scissors on my desk. They're like, all these knives, what do I need scissors for? They fucking work better than knives do at cutting stuff. That's why. Scissors are awesome. They don't even have to be sharp. They cut stuff better than a knife. Okay, we got the handle and the blade all taped up and protected. So now we can rub the stone against it pretty much. Let's just put a double layer just so we don't wear through it. We'll get the heel. Double layer, double bagging it. Alrighty. Okay, we're going to check this side's angle again. Put marker back down. We're at 25 degrees. Remember that for laters. Now, this side is pretty damn close to 25 degrees, and on the back side, the existing angle is higher. This is right on, though. This is like perfect. When I get the heel, we're just going to rub against the electrical tape to get to the very, very end of the heel so we can actually sharpen it. End of heels on sharpening tool knives can go both ways. They're going to be easy or they can be hard. This one, it wasn't too bad. Looks nice. We're not going to touch it too much, though. We're just going to make sure it's profiled and then just work the rest of the edge. Okay, check for a burr. We got a burr there. We got a burr at the tip. We got a burr at the heel. This is soft steel. Not sure what steel it is, but that was pretty simple. So that's why it's profiled. And since this is a small bevel, we really don't need to like do it again. We're just trying to get this sharp. It's a small bevel and a satin, so this is Relatively easy edge to sharpen. This side needs a little bit of profiling. It should be just like a minute or two. Sharpie's pretty much already gone. The tip. When I do tips, I go sweeping strokes along the edge, but I also go 90 degrees perpendicular to the edge. It keeps the tip sharp, and it helps profile the edge at the very tip, which can be hard with sweeping strokes. Okay, check for a burr. We got a burr there. We got a burr at the tip. We got a burr at the heel. Let's just do one quick pass on this side, line up scratch pattern, but we're profiled. Sweeping strokes, reduce the burr. Okay, burr's flipped over their side. Okay, I think we're all good with 150. Now let's jump into 400 grit stone. That's as high as we're going to go. This is satin edge. Satin edges at 400 grit look really nice and matte with not a lot of, like, they don't look scratchy like a Spyderco factory edge. They look a lot smoother than that at 400 grit with these stones. But it cuts so well at 400 grit. And that's what this knife wants, so that's what we're going to give it. This 400 grit edge, it'll look nice. Most importantly, it'll be sharp, easy to touch up. Won't show marks on it, won't show scratches. I don't have to kill myself chasing every single stray phantom matte spot or one loose scratch that stands out when in the right light. Just real quick, 400 grit, reducing the burr. Doesn't even really need to polish the bevel, just quick scratch pass. So, like, I know most of my videos I have mirror knives on. This one we're just doing satin. This is how easy it can be to sharpen. It doesn't have to take 45 minutes to do an edge. It can take, we're 12 minutes into this video and I talk for the first 5 and we're done. So we did one pass each side. Let's do another pass real quick to reduce the burr with longer sweeping strokes. You want to get the burr as small as possible before we go to the strop. And at 400 grit, there's still a noticeable burr usually. So we have to do a couple passes like this real quick just to try to get as much of it gone as possible. Or if we went up to 800 grit stone, it'd kill the burr pretty quick, but then we'd be at a different grit edge. Okay. So now we're going to wipe the edge off with my chamois cloth, get all those metal shavings off so I don't contaminate my strop. Pop this guy off. We're going to pop on a 3 micron strop. And since we're going up an angle, we don't really need to adjust the angle on this. We can just strop because we're not trying to polish the edge. We're just trying to pull the burr off. So it's only off by a little tiny bit. So since we're just trying to pull the burr off, it's actually kind of preferable to be at a slightly higher angle. Okay. Don't need to spend forever doing this. It's not trying to polish the edge. We're not trying to do mirror edges on this guy. We're just trying to polish the bevel. Remove the burr, not polish the bevel. So there we go. That's all it takes to sharpen a knife to a satin edge finish. And this will be, well, it's going to be interesting how sharp this is because the angle of the edge, because Medford is 25 degrees, and for reference, the Spyderco is 17 degrees. It's always interesting to see how a knife is going to cut compared to a PM2, because PM2 is usually more acute but sometimes blades are thinner than them. This one is not thin, not super thick, but it's at a pretty high angle. So let's see if it slices paper nice. Oh yeah, it does. There we go. One down. That order is complete. So part of the reason I wanted to do a complete order or finish this order was I wanted to go through how I'm going to mail this now. So before I mail this and put this in the box, let me take a picture of this guy. I'm assuming wants insurance because he spent a shitload insuring them to get them here. So when I finish an order, what I do is I go on Instagram or Facebook. All done. Packing it up now. Then I go, how much insurance do you want? So $8 per 1,000 is how much insurance is on pirate ship. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his own box. So usually I get a small flat rate box, but since this one came in a nice box that's this size and it fits 4 knives in it already, I'm going to, so this order is cool. It had I'm getting better at this. I can actually do it now. Had a Sabenza that we put a nice mirror on. It had that Medford we just sharpened, this little flipper guy. It had this ZT, not ZT, this Hinderer, and then this ZT. So all in all, pretty damn cool box. And so I'm just messaging him now, and he wants $2,000 of insurance. So what we will do is we will go on pirate ship, and we will, okay, making sure they're all not touching each other. Package all nice. Confirm return address. That's one thing I've learned is always confirm return addresses. People either ship from somewhere that's not their home, or they ship it, they want to ship it to their office and they don't want their wife to see it, or they move. People move a lot more than I move. Or they ship it from the UPS store and the return label says the UPS store's address and not their address. And then I have no other way of knowing how to get to them other than asking them. But yeah, get him to confirm. He wants $2,000 of insurance. And he confirmed his address, and it is the same as on the box. So before I send this off, I'm going to take all the knives out, actually, line them all up, take a video of all of them, so I have some documentary proof of the condition I left him in, and to get him excited for what's coming in the mail. So line them all up. Usually I take separate videos, but since I've done all these on film anyway, I don't really need to do that. So take a video. Oh, good thing I noticed. I forgot to do the important step on the Medford. There's a little bit of marker on the bevel. I don't know how other people that sharpen knives do this, but like, I'm sure they take care of them. But I can't send things back if they're not perfect. And so sometimes people send me knives that are scratched, and I'm like, I can fix that. Oh, I should probably try to fix it. Oh, I can tune the action. Okay, put these in here. I get kind of anxious about keeping multiple boxes of people's knives that I'm sharpening open. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to accidentally mix up knives and send someone the wrong shit. So it kind of makes me feel good to box this up. So what's cool about, let's tape this shut, this size box is I don't need to, not a big deal to waste the USPS small flat rate box. But instead of using that, what I have me left, what we're going to use is we're going to actually save, about 50 cents, and the box is we're going to put this box in this Tyvek envelope, which is waterproof. And you can ship an envelope for like $7.50, and then you can ship a flat rate small box for like $8.50. So this saves like $1. You don't waste this nice box. I know that's when you become an adult, you like boxes. You keep them. It's hard to throw away a good box. This is a really good box, so I'm gonna send it back to this guy. It just fits so nicely in this priority mail envelope. Like, we'll probably go in there sideways, but I don't need to put it that tight. Just put it in here. Then throw a sticker, at least one of these. If I have others, I can throw others in, but I have a big stack of Millie Club stickers. Put it in there, close this up. And then I take tape and I fold this shit over. Try to get the corners off, make it small. Anyway, do this, and then I go to pirateship.com to run my postage. It's cheaper at the post office, and you can print it at home and have it labeled. So when I go to the post office 2 to 3 times a week, all I do is I walk in, I throw my shit on the counter. I don't talk to. If you're talking to someone at the post office, other than in a social aspect for fun, you're doing it wrong. You don't need to do that. So this, I'll put a label on it, and I'll just set it on the counter, and it'll be done, and I'll have tracking, and I'll send a picture of the tracking label to the dude. And when you get a tracking number, if someone messages you a picture of a tracking number, and it's like, all 12 digits or whatever it is, take your phone, hold your finger on top of the numbers, and it will track. If you have an iPhone, if it's a good picture, it'll recognize those as numbers, and it knows to track those via USPS or FedEx or whatever. It knows how to do that. So anyway, send them tracking. Sometimes it doesn't get to the mail for 3-4 days if I'm stuck at home with kids, but at least it's packaged and has tracking. It's good to go. So boom, there is Medford and the order wrapped up. Next up, we have a PM2 DLC. It's a user. It's not like beat up or anything, but it's been used. It's not like baby. It's got marks on the DLC. Do you use sticky labels or just print on paper? I just print on paper. I don't have a thermal printer, but I do have a good Wi-Fi printer. And once I got the Wi-Fi figured out, which took a couple of years to get updated correctly, I got my Wi-Fi printer, and I can print from anywhere in the house. I can print from my phone even. If you didn't know that, on an iPhone, the little box with the arrow pointing up that sends files places, you can send files to your printer. So since I can do that from my phone or my MacBook, I just cut out the paper. It's not a big deal. I mean, I run a lot of labels, but not so many that this cutting out process is worth spending $100 and something on a printer that just does labels, and I'd have to buy a Wi-Fi one. Otherwise, I'd have to plug it in, which is what most of them are. So yeah, I just use paper. That's part of my taping process of making sure everything's secure. Is the tape goes around the edge of it. Put this label on this bag so I don't get mixed up on whose it is. Okay, PM2 time. Let's do the PM2 on the Hapstone, show this off. Why not? It's kind of fun having 2 different systems. There's similar, very similar, but they feel different to use. Okay, we got to get our jaw protector for the KME or the Hapstone right here. Kind of, these jaws are growing on me. Now that I know that you just have to crank them when they're supposed to be cranked hard, they don't move around, and they do a really good job of holding stuff flat. And they're easy to put stuff in them. I don't know, they're growing on me. I didn't think they were that great, but they might be as good as the TS Profs, actually. Might be better because I don't strip the screws on these. Oops. Line up my heel. I didn't do that. Heel lined up. Now I tighten it down. I just saw the Gritomatic has cases for the RS now and a stone case. Let's go check them out. I could use that. I like accessorizing and organization stuff. Gritomatic. Let's share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm always afraid I'm going to open the wrong tab and there's going to be something naughty on it. Okay. Gritomatic. Go to the home screen. Let's go Haps Systems. We have the Hapstone RS. So this is probably just going to be the systems. Upgrades. Let's go to Hapstone Accessories. So this is just parts. Soft case for Hapstone RS. Ooh, I like that. It's big because everything flat kind of spreads out. $50. That's cool though. I like that. If I was traveling, I'd probably get that. And then let's just see what New Arrivals says. Okay, TS Prof. The Pro is now $410 for reference. TS Prof Pioneer. This guy is interesting to me. I don't know if it's better or worse than the Cadet. But it's about the same price once you add the base. I don't know. It's kind of funky. I think I like the Cadet better. Hapstone case. I guess we already saw it. And the other one's just 6-inch stones. Ooh, I like that. 6-inch stone case. $26. How many stones does that hold? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. Well, that's pretty neat. Okay, we have PM2 in the clamps. It's DLC, so let's do our thing and tape it up. So when you do this, you're just going to hang a little bit of tape past the flat grind, just enough that you can take your fingernail and push it down against the face of the flat grind line so you don't grind it away. And this has worked pretty good for me so far. I've had one that kind of slipped off a little bit when I was doing it, and I kind of fucked that PM2's DLC up. That's because I was sharpening with water and cheap tape, and it came loose. That's now why I use expensive tape. Didn't like ruin it or anything, but I noticed it, and it's not where it's supposed to be. The DLC. Okay, Sharpie. Feels like we got a few there's a few little nicks, nothing crazy. So I'm checking for, right there's a chip. So we have to make sure we get that out. It's not visible, so it should come out just sharpening wise. But something to pay attention to before we get to the end. wait to the end, and then we have to start over and all that shit. Okay. Before I do this edge, this is from that dude. Let me go to my message from him. Make sure I know. He just says sharpened, so I assume he doesn't need a mirror. He just wants it sharpened. Okay. I'm going to drop this quite a bit. It's at 20, 18, 17, 17 degrees, and we'll dial it in a little bit more with this micro adjuster. Okay. See where the marker lines up at 17 degrees with the stone. So the existing edge is lower than 17 degrees. We'll have some profiling to do on this side. And the back side is dead on 17. So we got lucky on half of it. It's very close to 17 on the back side. Right on. Right where it's supposed to be. But we got to do this side first. And this side's got some work to do. So this will be fun. So the reason I've been using my TS Prof probably more than this Hapstone is because I'm more comfortable profiling the TS Prof because I can just like hold the knob and like push down and scrub. I don't think you need to do that as much as I push down. This will work fine. Just a light touch, it will still profile. I'm trying to learn that I be more delicate when I sharpen and it still works. It's surprising me, like, oh, I barely touched it and it took off the edge. So it's working pretty well. Okay, do a heel. Ooh, glad we checked this. We need to check our stop collar. Our stop collar is all loose. That's dangerous in this system. So compress it all the way. There we go. That was bad. I could have fucked up that edge. So we're trying to do the little divot that happens in front of the heels. To do that, I tilt my stone. I kind of like put pressure on the inside of the edge, twisting it so it gets to that part of the edge instead of laying flat and sawing a flat spot near the heel. You get to the spot, the offending spot. Okay, that's looking pretty good. A couple more strokes on it, and it'll look like it was never there. Okay. We should have a burr across the whole edge because we were at a higher angle than the existing. So we got a burr, we got a burr. I take my finger, run along the edge, check in a couple spots, make sure. Sometimes you get it at the heel, but not the tip, or different parts. But we have a nice burr, the whole edge. This side is right on 17 degrees. So this side doesn't take any, it's just getting the scratches out, just minor profiling. To the heel. This side's heel is easy. sometimes with the sharpener, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It feels like it gets slow on certain parts. And it's not the stone, I don't think. I'll clean off the stone just in case. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like rubbing on the tape slows it down, but then it stays slowed down. It's not that. Let's give this a wipe down again. Make sure it's all clean. Using Gunny Glow just to using the oil on here, it's sticking. Okay. Point the tip a little bit. It's not bad. We're just making sure it's nice and extra pointy. Line up our scratch pattern. I do enjoy doing satin edges. It's kind of fun just to make sure things get sharp and even. I kind of enjoy the process of profiling. It's like my favorite part of sharpening is making the edge look, to rough out the edge of what it's supposed to look like. And do the heel, and get rid of any of the marker spots and the valleys or, you know, all that bullshit. That's the fun part of sharpening for me, is now and the evenness and consistency. So now we're doing 400 grit stone just to reduce the burr. Light polish. I love the way the 400 grit stone looks. This looks nice with a nice even bevel. It makes a knife look a lot better. Even though it's not shiny like a mirror, a nice satin edge does look good. Like this DLC is popping because the edge is like nice now. DLC blades, I think, look better with satin edges. It's hard to photograph mirror. It's really hard to photograph mirror edges on a DLC knife, inside anyway, without natural light. It's really hard to get the DLC to look like it's shiny. I mean, the edge to look like it's mirrored. Okay, one more pass or two. Just light, reduce the burr. Someone messaged me earlier today about if I'm doing this wrong, if I'm not taking the right number of steps. Sharpening is kind of like you just figure it out. Like, there's no right way to sharpen. Some people have very methodical flip patterns where they go, oh, I flipped, 7 times, 5 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1 time on my progression. Like, I just go twice or 3 times when I'm trying to reduce the burr. Do it one more time. But there's no magic to sharpening. Like, some people need the structure of knowing what to do. It's kind of like, I don't know. I busted freestyle. Wait, I gotta drop it. Just drop it. Now let's set the angle. It's easy on this one, on the Hapstone. Rub off the edge, all the shit off of it. Zero the stone. Put that on here. And we're going to drop this about 0.7 degrees. Okay, now let's give it a quick deburring strop. What's funny is I get so lost in my head in sharpening, and I always forget to set a timer. I always forget to see what time I start something at. So doing these on film has been a learning experience to see how long these edges are taking me. Kind of not accurate though, because my mirrors I do on film are way longer than my normal mirrors because I want to look fancy on camera. There we go. But these satin edges, just busted 2 of them out in 40 minutes. That's kind of slow actually. But I am learning that my satin edges I can get done faster, so I might either slightly come down my prices on those or raise my mirror prices because I'm killing myself on these mirrors and I'm only charging 5 to 10 more extra. It's hard to figure out your pricing when you're doing sharpening. Like, you don't want to be too high just because you don't want to feel like an asshole. I could charge probably more. Some people are surprised I'm cheap. Some people are surprised I'm expensive. So, okay, so here's our edge. It's hard to see on the DLC, but there's some scratches. There you go. You can see the scratches in the DLC. We're going to get them out for this guy. So we're going to use a rust eraser, lightly rust eraser. And we're going to find those scratches, and we're just going to lightly scribble them out with the rust eraser. Just very lightly erase them. I don't want to do too much. I'm going to take some oil, honing oil, put a drop on the blade, rub it all around. We got some scratches up there too. Then we're going to take a magic eraser and we're going to rub the oil down. I think there's another scratch I didn't get out. Got the main one out. There we go. Yeah, nice clean DLC. I don't know. I can't stand returning a knife in a condition that I know I could improve on with just the shit that's sitting on my desk. I want people to be wowed when they open up my packages and be like, be able to take it out and take an Instagram photo of it right away without having to clean it off or wipe it down or whatever. I like my blades to look like they've been worked on in a positive way. Oh, there's one scratch on there I didn't get out. Must have missed it. Got it. Now oil it. When you use the rust eraser, it leaves the finish kind of like powdery and chalky and grayish. So that's why we're using the oil and the magic eraser. It like rehydrates the DLC and makes it really black. So there we go. There's a knife, cleaned up DLC, no more scratches, 400 grit edge. Hopefully that nick is gone. Let's check for the nick. Ooh, I might have to go back and do a little bit right there on that spot. So we're going to do those. I'm going to pull it through the edge. And right there, I didn't get the nick all the way out. So I'm going to have to go back and just hit that spot right there in the middle of the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a marker. I'm going to feel for that nick with my fingernail. It's right here. I'm going to take a marker. I'm going to mark the edge where I want to just minimal sharpen out that nick. So I don't want to do the whole edge. I just want to do just the nick. So I'll put that back in the sharpener and I'll get out that one spot that's snagging on paper. It's almost gone, but it's still there. So yeah, that is sharpening knives. I'll finish this here shortly. Thank you all for joining me. It was fun busting out 2 knives. Got an order done, got an order packed up. Anyway, that was sweet. I will see you guys again later this afternoon. If you are watching from YouTube, go join the Facebook group, the Millie Club. It will change your life. If you are on Facebook, go follow the YouTube account because it's got all these videos on it. And you can literally watch videos for like days on there. And give me a follow on Instagram. I am Thomas O. Moore. And we also have the Millie PM2 P3 Club account. Give them both a follow. That's about to break 25K this week. It'll break 25K hopefully. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been real. Thanks for joining me. Peace out.